So, good morning, or whenever you're watching this video, this recording. It might be afternoon, but today, as we're recording this, it is spring. It is the spring equinox right now, the vernal equinox, which means today is the first day of Aries as well. And so we just moved out of Pisces and into Aries, if you're into astrology. But what that means also is that we moved from a water sign into a fire sign. And so it was kind of a softer time, and now we're getting some energy moving. But also on the astrology wheel, there's 7 zodiac signs. Pisces is the last, and Aries is the first. So we're like starting the cycle again. So it's really cool. This is the beginning of the seasons. So here in the northern hemisphere, we're moving into spring, and in the southern, they're moving into fall. And so it's the balance. It's the balance time. It's a complete balance between sun, and, like light and dark. So right now, it's no longer the shortest day of the year or the longest day of the year. It's completely balanced between light and dark. So today I am offering the mudra, Varakam mudra, and it's the gesture of cultivating equanimity, so balance. And so let's practice our mudra. So these are hand positions in yoga. You can sit on the ground, you can sit in a chair, up on a bolster if you need to get up off the ground a little bit. So make sure you're somewhat comfortable, make yourself comfortable, adjust as we go. We're going to hold the left hand in front of the solar plexus, palm up, and place the right hand above the left hand, palm down. Okay, so we're going to clasp the fingers together, and we're going to draw the hands gently apart. So you're kind of clasping those fingers together. And then we're going to rotate the hands gently so that your thumbs are touching. Thumbs are pointed up. Yeah, so you've got like a little teepee there you can look through. Yeah. So what we do is we have our left hand palm up, right palm face down, and we clasp our fingers and then just twist our thumbs up together. Yeah. So that's the gesture of cultivating equanimity. So you've got the light and the dark coming together and creating that balance. You can just rest this in your lap. You don't have to have it so tight. You can just really have it nice and loose. And let's just sit and maybe close your eyes, or maybe just lower the gaze down to the floor. I always like to find like a little spot in the wood on the floor, and I just kind of gaze at that, and then I'm going to breathe. So let's practice breathing really nice and deep. In through your nose, maybe out also through your nose. But if you feel the need to really like let your breath out, you can do that through an open mouth maybe. There's this ancient Chinese proverb that says, the nose is for breathing and the mouth is for eating. So, you know, technically we try to breathe through our nostrils, but at any point, if you really need to let that breath go, let that energy out, feel free to do that. Let's create the balance in the breath. So maybe by using a number, I like the number 4 when I start to breathe, because 4 is not too much or not too little. So as we breathe in, you might count to 3 or 4. And then the same as we breathe out. So I'll guide a couple breaths and then continue on your own. So we'll breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold and breathe out, 2, 3, 4, hold, breathe in, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4. If you need a longer breath, lengthen it up. If that's too long, shorten it up. So adjust to your liking, to what feels balanced for you. Imagine the breath flowing up along the front of the body in the inhale, and down the back towards the tailbone with the exhale. Energy floating up from the pelvis, from the front up to the top of your head, and going over your head Exhaling down to the tailbone for that grounding sensation. It's like this toroidal field is being created around your body. The upward current is in front and the downward current is in back. And so it's a balanced circle moving around your body. Remember, if you need to change the way you're sitting, if you're uncomfortable at any time, do that. Let's take 3 more breaths on our own with a balanced breath. If it still feels good with the mudra, you can hold it. If you need to let it go, you should. Using those numbers, breathing in, breathing out the same. One more. Nice work, everyone. Let's release our hands. If you haven't already, mine feel warm now. They like kind of had a little energy flowing through that connection there. So let's move our arms a little bit. We'll just extend them out in front of us. Extend your fingers and we're going to comb the air. So with an inhale, scoop your hands up. And your exhale, we'll float it back down. Balanced breath, just the same. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Letting the arms kind of guide your way. Breath is your guide. Let's do it one more time. As I do this, I start to notice my left shoulder. It always has a little kink in it as I move. Let's change direction. So if you need a, oh, someone's here. Okay, pardon me. Excuse me. Hey, come on in. 10:30 is when we start. Come on in. All right. You can set up right up in here if you'd like, or anywhere where you can squeeze in. All right, so let's do 3 of those same kind of raking breaths out to the side this time. So we're going to change directions. Out to the sides, fingers spread. We'll breathe in and lift up and exhale to float down. Ground those fingers. Nice job. Let's do it a couple times. Maybe just close your eyes. Move with your own breath, with your own pace. Don't worry about anyone else. Let's do it one more time. Nice job. So now we're going to kind of add those together. So we're going to kind of scoop forward, breathing in, and then out, going down and out to the sides. Nice work. So that's where it's important not to be sitting right next to someone because you'll be hitting them right in the face or right in the armpits. We'll do it one more time. Scoop it up and exhale to float back down. Now we're going to go reverse. We got to go backwards. We got to be balanced. Upward, and then we're going to exhale down to our lap. Naturally, the hands will open out to the side. We've got to turn our knuckles up to float the arms up, and then down in front of us. So let's try it again. Breathing in and up and out to the sides, and out and down in front of us. Nice job. Try it again if you'd like. Get a nice rhythm going. All right, so let's start to stretch these arms out. We'll make cactus arms, goalposts, if you will. And then we're gonna cross the arms. So I've got left arm underneath, right arm over top. Okay, so if my arms are straight, right arm's gonna be on top. And then I flip those elbows back up. So I'm trying to mirror all of you. And then if you can get your hands, the back of your hands together here, that's good. If you can wind them around, that's good too. Anywhere where you are, it's a good place to be. These are called eagle arms. Lift your elbows out away from your chest. Try to relax your shoulders. Lean your head from side to side. Start to just explore. And remember, if you need to change the way you're sitting, please do that. Nice work. Now for me, I feel this in my shoulder blades. I feel it a lot on, well, both today. You're going to unwind when you're ready. We'll do the opposite. Remember, today's kind of about balance. So ground your hands. If your legs are crisscrossed like mine, let's kick them out. Give them a little break. We'll open our chest up. You don't have to follow me. You can do your own thing. Thank God, asana. We'll sweep our shoulder blades back, open the chest, open your sternum, let your head kind of just draw back. Open your throat. I like to let my head lean from side to side while I'm kind of reaching my throat and my heart upward. Nice. I promise we'll do the other side with those eagle arms, but let's set ourselves up for our first forward fold as like an intermission. So we want to activate our legs. We want to line up our big toes with our hips. So if your feet are together, we need to separate them slightly, about 2 or 3 inches at minimum. And then we're going to activate those toes by pulling them back. We'll sweep the hands up to the sky. You can breathe in if you'd like, and we'll forward fold. Keep on breathing. So today we're trying to work with that balanced breath. Breathing in, breathing out. In my head, I'm counting to about 3 or 4 with each of those breaths. One more, breathing in, breathing out. Nice work. Now you're welcome to keep your legs extended like this. You're welcome to change them if you'd like. So I'm a crisscrosser. If you like your legs straight, you can keep them straight. It's however you want to sit. We're going to do the eagle arms with the other side. So last time we had left underneath. This time we're going to have right underneath. So if you are crisscrossing your elbows, you want the left elbow to sit in the right elbow pit. And then the backs of the hands can try to reach for each other, or you can wind those hands around. Reach the elbows away from your chest so that you're creating space there. Lean your head maybe from side to side. It's tight today. Nice work. You can release whenever you're ready to, so you certainly don't need to wait for me to tell you what to do. It's more about listening to what your body is in need of. Unwind, open the chest, extend the legs back out, and we'll do the opposite. So we were just kind of rounded, and we want to do the opposite, create that balance in our body. Nice. Opening up the chest here, maybe leaning your head from side to side. And we'll come back up to center. Engage the core, engage the legs, separate those feet a little bit for another forward fold. We'll sweep up to the sky and reach for our knees, reach for your ankles, reach for your shins or your toes, wherever it is that you are today. Please don't compare yourself to me or anyone else in here. It might be even beneficial to close your eyes and just focus on that breath. Nice work. Let's take one more breath. I know it feels like a long time when you're holding it for a while. But again, if you're very uncomfortable, listen to your inner intelligence. Let's move out of that pose and roll back up. Nice work, everyone. Shoulder rolls. Just feels good to kind of get them moving around. Nice. Go forward too. All right. So we'll get a little bit deeper into the sides of our body. Again, sit however you're most comfortable. So for me, I'm crisscrosser, but if legs straight feels best for you, stay with your legs straight. We'll ground our fingertips off either side of your yoga mat. I know mine is sideways, but just pretend like it's long. We'll drop onto our right hand, and you're welcome to slide that out if you want to. The left hand is going to reach up to the sky and over towards the right. But you want to try to keep your left butt bone here on the floor. So if it starts to peel up, really try to ground it down. We're trying to create length through this whole left side. And breathe. That's the hard part. One more deep breath. Nice job. Let's do it to the other direction. Pull yourself up. Ground yourself there. Left hand, it can slide out further. Go ahead. Go for it. Right hand can reach over whenever you're ready to. We want to try to relax that left shoulder, but also keep the right sit bone rooted this time. And breathe. I like to look up and look down just to kind of get into my neck a little bit. 3 deep breaths minimum. You can take more. If you need to take less, then you can. Bring yourself up whenever you're ready to. If you need to switch your seat, you should. Let's try it again. So again, if any of the gazing suggestions, like looking up, looking down, do not suit your practice, please just keep your head still. Don't feel like you need to listen to every option that I have to suggest. When you're ready, we're going to switch one more time over to the left side. Reaching with the right, stretching on the right. So if you find yourself really like stiff through that left arm, you find your shoulder popping forward, try to roll it back, try to bend through that elbow, relax through the left side. When you're ready, bring it back up. We're going to add the twists here on either side. So again, legs can be straight or legs can be crisscrossed. So we're going to just take this left hand over to our right thigh. So if legs are straight, it kind of just looks like this. And the right hand is going to sweep back behind us. You want to stay up tall through your spine. So lift through your crown, kind of like there's a hook on the top of your head. You're being lifted up through your head. And we'll start to add a little twist around. As you breathe in, unwind, fill yourself up. And as you exhale, twist it out. So it's kind of like a wash rag. Fill it up and twist it out. Let's go to the other side. So we're going to sweep over to the left. Left hand comes over there. Right hand is going to come to the outside of your left thigh. Inhale, sit up tall. That hook on your head. Exhale, twist it out. Stay in your twist. Just inhale, fill yourself up, and exhale, wring it out. Remember, if this doesn't feel good for your back, don't feel like you need to keep doing it. Honoring your body is the most important part of this practice. We'll unwind when you're ready. Nice job. Let's kick our legs back out. So some of you are already there. That's good. All right, wiggle those legs out if they've been crisscrossed a while. Activate the legs once again. So we got to turn our toes up towards the ceiling. That's going to get us right into the hamstring muscle attachments on the back of the thighs. Let's just slide right down to our shins, ankles. If you're super Gumby and you can reach your feet, then you can reach for your feet. Take 2 deep breaths, just trying to sink here. Every exhale gives you kind of permission to let go, surrender. Nice work. Keep your right leg straight, roll yourself up, pull your left foot up with you into a figure 4. Now, if this kind of hurts your left knee or your left thigh at all, then feel free to support that with some rolled up blanket, pillow, blocks, things like that. We'll take a big inhale. Once again, rotate towards the right and fold right over top your right leg. So again, we kind of want to keep our right toes pointed up to the ceiling. If your right toes start to rotate out, you're going to be it's not wrong. It's just that you're not stretching the hamstring muscles now. You'll be stretching adductors in the inner thigh. So that's something I like to play with a little bit. It doesn't have to be straight and rigid. You can roll your toes out to the right, or you can rock your whole body and your toes to the left. And notice the outer thigh then. It's like, oh, you can change it. So it doesn't need to be static stretching. You can move while you're practicing. You can exit the pose at any time. So if your body is telling you, that's too much, I need a break, then make sure to take a break. So I'm going to start to roll myself back up. We're going to kind of create a combination pose here. So as you come back up to center, we're going to separate our left foot from our right thigh and adjust your hips out to the side. So you want to rotate a little bit out towards the left. As I do that, my right inner thigh starts to stretch. I can feel it happening already. And then I'm just going to reach my right hand down my right leg, sweep my left hand out back behind me, so that my arms are kind of teed like this, but out to the left. And then that left hand will reach up over your head, maybe towards your right toes. So now I'm getting right inner thigh, left ribs, left waist area. Try to relax. That's the hard part. And try to breathe. Nice work, everybody. Breathe in when you're ready. Pull yourself back up to center. That'll feel better. And we'll rotate back ahead. Let's do those 2-3 moves on the other side. So we're just going to kick our left leg out, bend our right knee, and we're going to go straight forward first for our left foot. So it's called Janu Sirshasana. It means head to knee position. So just reach up or slide down your leg. Either one is good. We're going to end up reaching for our left toes, left shin, left knee, bowing your head towards that left knee and trying to breathe. And this is that pose where you can really just hold it static like this, or you can start to lean from side to side, turning your toes out a little bit, turning your toes in a little bit. When I turn my toes in, my hip even lifts up off the ground a little. So don't feel weird about playing around with it. You can really play with your practice and see what works for you, see what feels good. Nice work, everybody. When your body says that's good, you can move on now. Just roll up when you're ready to. And we'll adjust out to the side. So we're going to kind of adjust our body, rotate a little bit out to the right. So my left leg doesn't really change, but my right foot separates. And now I feel my left inner thigh stretching a lot. All right, so left hand reaches down the left leg. Right hand reaches out back to the right. Up to the sky with that right hand, over your head with that right hand. Nice work. So now that whole left inner thigh should be stretching, but also the right ribs, the right waist. Try to breathe while you're here. Try to relax that left shoulder. I know it's hard. We hold so much tension in our neck and shoulders as it is. Try to let it go. When you're ready to come up, take that big inhale and pull yourself back up to center. Nice work, everyone. We'll rotate back ahead. Awesome. Now we're going to do a deeper hip stretch. I know not everyone is a fan of our cross-legged seated pose or Sukhasana, which means easy pose, but we're going to pull our right foot in and then left leg's going to be in front. Some people stack the legs, so maybe you want your left leg stacked on top of your right leg. Here's a cool trick for some of you who if this is really uncomfortable. What you can do is take a blanket and roll your blanket up. So it's right now folded in quarters. So in half and in half again. And then lengthwise, I roll it up, lift my knees, wrap it around my ankles, and I've got a really nice little support here. So that's a really nice suggestion if this is just killer on your legs. But I have a bony butt, so I want this for my butt instead. So we've got left leg in front or stacked on top. We'll just sweep our hands right in front of our legs. This might be where you stop. Isn't that nice? Yeah. And then we're going to start to walk our hands forward. One handprint might be where you stop. That might be like, oh yeah, I feel that in my legs. That looks good, Karen. Yeah, just kind of wrap it around those ankles. What do you think? Your feet? Your knee? Okay. Maybe get that block underneath there too. If your knee is hurting, a little more bit extra support. Does that help? Awesome. we gotta figure out how to use our props, you know? I love props, so they're good. So as I walk my hands forward, I can keep going a little bit more as I start to stretch out, but I find the spot where I'm like, that's kind of too much. So I have to back up a little bit. I feel this in my left hip, my left kind of butt area, but you might feel it down your leg. You might feel it in your knee. If you're feeling it in your knee and it's too much, maybe you even lean into that knee. Does that change it too, Karen? Okay, so what that does is it makes the rotation happen in your thigh here rather than your knee twisting, because your knee's not supposed to twist, but your hip is supposed to rotate in that joint. So just a little lean over to that side if it hurts that knee. Nice work, everyone. Now, of course, we've got to do all this on the other side, but let's start to walk our hands up back to center so that you can stack your spine. We'll kick our left leg out. and kick your right leg out. Now they're separated a little bit wider now. We're going to try, it's called Pado Tanasana, which means wide-legged forward fold. So a little bit wider, I just kind of start to lean into it. It's not my favorite pose, definitely. But I still like to practice the postures that are not my favorite because one day I want to like them. One day I want to be good at them. Nice work, everyone. All right. Start to roll it back up because we got to do the other leg in front this time. So we're going to tuck our left leg in front, or in, and then right leg in front this time, or stacked on top of the left. Now remember, if you like that suggestion with the rolled up blanket, you just roll it up kind of lengthwise, wrap it around your ankles, tuck it underneath your thighs and calves, shins, and that helps. Or you can get some rolled up blankets underneath your knees. So yeah, whatever feels good. From here, the next step is just to start to lean into it. Hands can come forward. If you need more stretch, you can start to walk your hands forward. For me now, the stretch is in my right thigh, right hip. Again, if you're feeling it in one knee, you might just kind of lean into that knee, and that's going to take the rotation out of that knee and bring it into the hip, where the femur rotates in the pelvis. Nice work, everyone. And if it doesn't hurt in your knee, then you might just take a moment to kind of lean to the left and feel how it shifts the stretch in your pelvis, and a little lean to the right just to see how it shifts it, because it will change it. It will change the sensation for you. And as we shift, we're creating tension in different muscle groups. So it's good to stretch everything out. So I like to rock from side to side a little bit, create that movement. But when your body says that's good, then you can start to roll yourself back up. We spent about 5 breaths. 3 is what I try to do. So 5 is a good amount. We'll extend those legs out to the side. I'm going to try to get them even wider this time, as wide as I can without being uncomfortable. And then for me, I kind of like to start with my hands behind my back, and my fingers are tented behind my hips here. So I lift up through my chest, and that really brings some stretch into the inner thigh. But if you're like, I think I would feel more folding forward, then you can certainly bring your hands forward or just bring them on top of your legs here. Some people can like rest on their elbows. I'm not there yet. Maybe one day. But that's also where a block comes in handy. So if you have an extra block, you could bring it in front of you and rest your elbows on it. It's kind of nice just to hang out in some of these poses. And when you hang out and let yourself relax, it becomes more of a yin practice. More of that nurturing, sinking, softening. Let's take one more deep, balanced breath. Breathing in, lifting, and breathing out, grounding. Let's roll ourselves back up, everybody, and just bring your feet together, knees apart, Badakanasana. It means bound angle position, so bound at the feet, angled at the knees, and asana means position. So this is an asana practice, a movement, a positional practice. We'll sit up nice and tall here and start to lean into it if you want more stretch. This will bring stretch into the inner thigh, groin. If you're feeling it in the outside of your hips, you're experiencing what we call compression, and that's bone on bone. So you don't want to push yourself deeper into that pose because that's as far as you're going to go. That's how you're made. Nothing can change that. I like to lean from side to side. I see some of you kind of adding that movement, and I love that because when you lean, again, you're kind of stretching the right waist and hip as you lean to the left, the opposite as you lean to the right, and kind of carving out the hips, stretching everything out. Nice work, everybody. Again, when your body says, that's good, I think I've had enough of that pose, you can start to roll yourself up. You don't have to wait for me. You can extend your legs out. All right, I'm going to turn to the side just so folks at home can really see what I'm doing from a side angle, and all of you too. We want our feet to be separated. We'll swing our hands back behind us. So beginners, this is a beginner class. You're going to have your hands back behind you. But I always teach kind of an all levels class. So if you've been practicing a while, you might turn your fingers out, or if you're wanting to go for something more advanced today, maybe you even try turning your fingers in, but that puts a lot of pressure on the wrists. So I'm going to demonstrate with my fingers back. Shoulders back, head back. And then I'm going to start to put a little pressure on my hands by lifting up off my hips and putting the pressure in my heels. I feel a lot in my elbows, a lot in my wrists there. So if you're like, ow, 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 then drop those hips back down. It's not worth hurting yourself over getting into a pose. So when you are ready, drop those hips back down, sweep your hands up, big inhale to the sky, activate your legs. So toes lift up, and then we'll fold forward for your ankles or your shins or your knees or your toes. Deep breath, sink into that. Nice work. We're going to try another variation of a hip lift. So it's putting pressure on our hands and wrists, really good for our bone density in our hands and wrists. Let's bring ourselves back into that position behind us. Now we're going to line up here with our feet. So I measure with my knees. So I'm going to keep my left leg straight, but bend my right knee and line it up with my knee, and then match my other foot up. Now I'm going to lift up off of my hips and bring my knees over my ankles and then squeeze to lift higher. Nice job. Reverse tabletop. And then when you're ready, just drop those hips back down, release the legs out, and let's sweep them back forward. Nice work. So it's all about the balance, backwards, forwards. It's like that ebb and flow. The sun rises, the sun sets. The tide comes in, the tide goes out. Let's roll back up, and we're going to flip our body over so that we can go into a traditional tabletop position. So I like to bring my blanket with me here and make sure I've got some cushion for my knees. Hands on the ground. Make sure that your elbows don't lock while you're here. You want them to, just kind of be a little bit soft in there. But you do want to try to line things up. So making a table here, all those legs are nice and sturdy underneath the surface of the table. And then we'll start some cats and cows whenever you're set up. So just starting to roll your spine up, roll your spine towards the floor, keeping the legs of your tables nice and strong. So a lot of times when I'm teaching a beginner yoga class, I'll see people bend their elbows and I'm like, that table's about to fall over. So we want our table to really stay sturdy, that sturdy foundation, and it's just your table surface, your spine, your head, your pelvis that's moving here. Now at any time, if your wrists are it's too much, take a break. And our break pose is either child's pose like this. So practice them with me, see which one you like. So child's pose is pretty deep. I'd say that's one of our more deeper poses. So I kind of like extended cat pose, which is a little bit lifted from there. So I'm really stretching my hands forward and reaching my pelvis back. And then puppy pose is forehead on the ground, resting through the arms, hips lifted. So that's probably your most beginner resting pose. Another option, if this is just not working for your knees today, is to roll forward onto your belly if you need to rest. So that's called crocodile pose. So there's a lot of different things to choose from. Find the one that you like, and let's take a moment, a breath or two, to just kind of rest there. Take the weight off of your hands. Find that balanced breath once again. If you were working with a number, my number was 4, then you can count, breathing into the number 4 and breathing out to the number 4. Great work, everybody. Peel yourself up whenever you're ready to continue on. Stay there if you need time to rest. We're going to create an extended tabletop. So what we're going to do is start with the legs. I'm going to extend my right leg out behind me. Nice. Then I'm going to kind of just slide my left hand, my opposite hand forward. If you feel like you could lift your hand up, you can. It's really hard if you try to do the same arm and the same leg, so you'll know. You'll know if you're trying to do the same. And then bring it back down, and let's try the other side. So we got to get our nervous system used to this. This is somatic movement right here, brain-body connection. Left leg reaches back, right hand slides forward. You can lift your hand if you want to. I feel shaky here. If you're looking closely, I'm shaking. My core is engaged. All those little muscles have to really engage to keep me balanced, and we'll drop it down. Okay, so other side again, right leg, left arm. I'm staring down at an imperfection on my yoga mat. I don't want to be necessarily looking around. It might cause you to come off balance, but again, look where it feels right for your. Nice job. Let's bring it down. Try the other side. We're taking 3 breaths during each of these postures. So breathe in nice and deep. Breathe out. And now 3 breaths seems kind of like a long time. Nice. Last one. Bring it down. Yeah, it's getting burny. My hips are burning from holding. We're going to add a tiger crunch here. So right leg, left arm. Inhale, reach. Exhale, bring your elbow towards your knee. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, crunch it in. I'm going to do 2 more. You can do 1 more. You can do 10 more, however many you want. There's my 4 crunches. I'll bring my hand back down and set up for the other side. Left arm, right leg. Continue with the other side if you're still going. I'm breathing in to reach, exhaling to crunch. Move at your own pace. Breathing in to reach, exhale to crunch. Nice work. I really have to stare at the mat because I'm focused. I don't want to get off balance by watching someone else. And when your crunches are done, you can come down to your resting pose. Puppy pose, child's pose, cat pose, crocodile. I like to come to a posture like child's pose and try to relax my hands. In fact, I try to roll my palms up towards the ceiling so that I cannot have any pressure on my hands. Nice. Get that balanced breath back in order. Cool the body. Calm the nervous system. Nice work. All right, we're going to make our way up to standing. So I do that through downward dog. I'm going to roll myself up. I'm looking down straight at my hands or straight ahead. Tuck the toes. Roll up off of your knees. You can look back at your toes, but if it feels better for your brain to look forward at your hands, then you can do that. Either one is good. We're going to start to just tippy-toe our feet forward. Walk your hands back. Big steps, little steps, it's up to you. Find your way. There's no right or wrong. It's not always pretty. So don't worry about how it looks. Remember, as they say, Amanda says, it's not about how it looks. It's about how it feels. So let's start to roll up. I'm just kind of putting pressure in my feet, rolling up all the way slowly because I don't want to get too dizzy. And as we come up to standing, you can kind of roll everything into alignment. All right. Adjust your clothes, get your hair out of your mouth, and we'll bring our hands to our heart center. Samastiti, it's the balanced pose. And so everything is balanced. Our feet have the same amount of weight in them. Our hips have the same amount of weight in them. Shoulders are back. So I imagine if I had like a mirror over here to my side, that my knees would be stacked over my ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over hips, and then ears over shoulders. So that's the big one. I always have to like pull my head back into alignment, activate the front of my neck there. All right, so let's do a quarter salutation. That's just the arms. Inhale right here. Exhale down to your sides. That's called mountain position. Inhale, sweep up. And we're going to exhale through the center, right back down to the heart. Inhale, that's a quarter salutation. Inhale here, and then exhale down to the sides. Inhale up. Exhale to the heart. We'll do it one more time. This time, separate your hands here out to the sides. So if you came back to the heart, just spread them out to the sides. We're going to bend through our knees, and we're going to hinge right here at our hips. So I try to get belly on my thighs. So I'm like kind of squatting down, belly on my thighs. Then I can get my fingers. Well, I have really long arms, but fingers to the floor, or if you need some blocks. That's another reason for a bolster too, because bolsters, these things raise the floor up to your hands. So then as I bend my knees, I'm kind of tapping the back of my elbows. Can you do that? Can you tap the back of your elbows with your knees? One day, guys, you're going to do a crow pose. Yep, that's setting you up for it. All right, but I feel my thighs really burning as I continually tap my elbows with my knees. So let's relieve that by lifting our hands up to our shins or our knees or our thighs and extending the spine straight out, straightening your legs. Nice deep breaths. I love to hear those deep breaths. One more, extend through the top of your head, and then exhale, bend those knees, fingers to the blocks, fingers to the floor. Step one foot way back there towards the back of your mat. Then set up through your hands, step the other foot back. Now, if you can keep looking at your hands or up towards me, traditionally, the drishti or the gaze would be back towards your feet. But you don't have to do anything traditionally, that's for sure. We'll start to pedal out our feet. So I press my right heel down, bend my left knee, and then I switch them. And I can really feel those calves stretching. Now, if your hands, your shoulders are killer right here, take a break at any time. You know your resting pose. Child's pose. Now, I'm going to roll forward like I'm going to do a push-up. And then I drop to my knees because I'm not very good at push-ups. And then I'm going to start to lower down onto my belly. So it goes thighs, belly, chest. I sometimes have to kind of scooch back to get myself on my mat, untuck the toes. And now let's do a little heart lift. So you choose how high you want to go. So this is called Sphinx, as you just kind of lift your chest up. As you press into the mat, it's called Cobra, but we don't want our elbows to wing out. We want them to stay into our sides. I'm just not warmed enough for the upward dog, so this is as high as I'm going. Good upward dog though. We'll lower back down, back to the floor. Let's try that lift again. So inhale, peel it up, and exhale, back down. Don't force it too much. We don't want to hurt our back. One more time if you're okay with it. If you can handle one more round. We'll roll back down. We're going to go into our resting pose. So here's this is crocodile. So if you're like, this is my resting pose. My resting pose is child's pose. So I'm going to peel up to hands and knees, adjust my knees forward, widen up my knees, and slide back. If you like puppy pose, go to puppy pose or cat pose. You got it, yeah, whatever you like. Yeah, I'm like frog pose. It's really like your favorite just pose where you can come to and just be like, okay, I don't feel pain. Nice job. No pain. Maybe a little discomfort, but that's different. All right, let's roll ourselves back up and set ourselves up for another downward dog. So I roll up to my tabletop, rotate my knees forward, separate those fingers, tuck the toes, and roll up. Again, you can stay looking at your hands or forward, or you can look back at your toes here. Really push into your hands, really lift through your tailbone. We're going to practice 3 toe, it's like calf raises, toe lifts. So we're going to, or heel lifts really. We're rolling up to our tippy toes and then pressing both heels at the same time into the mat. Mine won't connect. Mine will not ground. Inhale, roll back up, tippy toes. Exhale, press your heels down. Again, mine just won't touch and it's okay. One more time, tippy toes. Nice, back down to your heels. And then we're gonna start to make our way forward. I'm walking forward. You can take giant steps, little baby steps. You can walk your hands back. When I come into my forward fold, I'll set up into a half forward fold to kind of reset the spine. Head reaching out, tailbone reaching back, shoulders drop from the ears. One more breath. And we're going to hang in a ragdoll or a forward fold or really whatever works for you. So a restful pose, just kind of hanging out here. Try to catch your breath. Back to that balanced breath, breathing in, maybe to a count of 3 or 4. And the same number, breathing out. When you're ready to roll up, you don't need to wait for me. Feel free to find your way when you're ready. What I do is I sweep my arms out like a bird. I start to press through my feet, hinge through my hips. Go slow, and then start to reach up to the sky as I come up to standing. Hands to the heart to come back to that kind of center posture. And then I might kind of just walk out through my feet, rock my hips from side to side here, just to see how they're feeling, get anything kind of back into alignment that I need. Nice work. Let's also do kind of like a rotation through the hips. So let's let our hands down and do a little bear in the woods. I don't know why they call it that, but I call it knocking on the door of life, because as you come around, maybe your hand kind of gently knocks your kidney on your back. And so it stimulates the kidney meridian. Nice work. Get those waters flowing. When I think about the seasons, I always think about water and what it's doing. So in the winter time, it's cold, it's slow, so the water freezes. You can slowly just come back to center. And now as spring is coming, the water is going to start to thaw. And so some more activity in the movement of our body. So I'm going to guide through another sun salutation. At the second sun salutation, or at the second downward dog, I'm going to come down and we'll start to roll onto our back and relax. So if you're like, I'm just going to go now, you can. I give you permission. So I'm going to come back to my hands at my heart, set a really nice intention, perhaps even say an internal prayer, or just have that internal vibration for the next season. Set the intention, set the tone. Inhale right here at your heart and exhale down to the side, mountain position. Inhale, scoop that energy around your body, seal it in at the top, shower it over you as you bend your knees and forward fold. Be kind to your back, bend your knees as you go here. I'm going to lift halfway, hands to the shins, hands to the knees, straighten out, and then exhale back down. Hands down, step one foot way back there. Set up through my hands, step the other foot back there. Again, you can look where you need to. So forward, back towards your feet. It's up to you. Really press through those hands. Roll up to your tippy toes. Look towards your hands if you're not already, and roll into a plank like you're going to do a push-up. Drop to the knees, lower down. Nice work. It's really flowing here. And then we'll heart lift. Sphinx, Cobra, up dog if you're there. And then we're moving back down and into a child's pose or your final downward dog. So I roll up to hands and knees, tuck those toes, and lift up off the knees for that downward dog. I might pedal my heels one more time here just to stretch those calves out. And then I'm going to relax hands and knees. Maybe a quick child's pose for a breath or two. When you're ready to start rolling over onto your back, that's where we're going to go to next. We're headed towards supine position. So peeling up, I transform my blanket into a pillow now, but you can use it as a blanket if you want to. And then I've got this nice bolster that Mia left from meditation class. So that bolster could be used under the knees. We've got a bunch of them. So if you would like a bolster, feel free to grab one. For me, it's really hard for me to just kind of like lay down right away. So I always like to just come down onto my back and kind of rock my knees from side to side a couple times and start to slow my body down. But again, it's not about what I do, it's also about what you need. So if you're ready to just lay and be still, you can go there and ignore everything, all the suggestions that I have here. Because remember, I'm just a guide. Everything that I offer is simply a suggestion. Your internal intelligence tells you what you need. I might add a little hip stretch here with my feet flat, knees bent. I might pick up my right foot and cross it over my left thigh. Figure 4. Of course, if you need more stretch there, then you can walk your left foot closer to your body, or even pick your left foot up off the ground by grasping onto that left thigh and pulling it into your chest. A laying reclined pigeon pose. Just starting to slow things down. Remember to keep things balanced. So that pigeon, that figure 4, make sure to mimic that same structure on the other side. Unwinding whenever you're ready. And I invite you to take a couple minutes to just lay and be still and just tune in to how your body is changing. Remember back to an hour ago, maybe how you were feeling then. And how you're feeling now. Those are the comparisons we can make. It's not me against you, it's me then against me now. And even the small, subtle shifts make a big difference. Remember back to your balanced breath, breathing in and filling up, feeling that energy in the front of your body, And breathing out, grounding down, feeling your body sink into the floor. Noticing your body now, just laying here, if there are any areas of discomfort. And if there are, maybe bringing movement there. So if it's your low back, maybe you bend your knees, bring your feet flat, and add those window wipers again. Maybe it feels good to just stretch those legs out and flex and point your toes a couple times and just start to bring some movement back into your legs and feet and ankles. Do the same with your arms, maybe just extending them down or out or up over your head and just reaching the hands, reaching through the fingers. And then just try to relax, flop on the ground for a moment. You're welcome to just stay laying on your back if you need some more time to let your body rest. If you're ready to start moving again, then perhaps you choose a side. I like to just roll right up to a seat. So I kind of just roll my little bolster out of the way, and then I'll dig my elbows back into the floor and roll myself up and rotate however it feels good to sit or lay. Now, of course, today is the equinox, and it is the beginning of, this intense vibrational journey, but it's a balanced day of night and day are of equal length now, and harmony exists there between light and dark. And it only occurs twice a year, here in spring and then in fall. And then you've got your solstices, which are the longest and shortest days. So there may be some changes as things start to shift. Purging, perhaps, but it's the optimum time to head out into nature and set intentions, give gratitude for the energy of the earth, for the moon, for the sun in balance. Our bodies, trying to mimic that balance. Gratitude for these bodies. They are capable, they are strong, maybe stronger than you thought. Gratitude for your mind that got you here today and rolled out your mat with me. Gratitude for the breath, the bond that binds each of us. I bow to each one of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste. In Shukriya, that means thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Happy spring.